Welcome to the all-new Human Shrinking Laboratory. You have volunteered to be the first to partake in our tour of the aortic valve. Your tour guides today will be Claire Dalke, Vanessa Wijaya, and Ian Fisher. During this tour, you will be shrunk down to the height of 2 millimeters so you may journey through our simulated heart. Please remember that we are not responsible for any damage that may come to you as you journey through the heart. Please do not touch any white blood cells you may see floating by you, as they will dissolve your flesh. Please follow us into the facility and we will prepare you for your journey.
This is our aortic valve tour preparation room, where you will learn everything you need to know to stay safe during your journey. On this screen, you see the geometry used to create the simulated valve. These geometries represent a typical heart valve and were entirely replicated in our simulation. The one portion of the geometry that was not able to be incorporated was the full valve leaflet length. This was due to the robustness of the model used for the simulation. The model was not able to compile when using the full valve leaflet length, as this would lead to extremely high pressures and deformations of the leaflets. Next, you see the two fluid velocity functions used to simulate the cardiac cycle. The cardiac cycle can be seen on the left. As you can see, the cardiac cycle consists of two distinct regions, the systole and diastole. The systolic pulse is much more accurately represented by the sinusoidal velocity function. Be very careful as you journey through the valve, as the high pressures and velocities could easily implode your body. In addition to a time-dependent fluid velocity flow, a velocity profile was also used, as can be seen in the figure to the left. The entry flow into an artery begins as plug flow and becomes parabolic once fully developed. In this simulation, the flow is approximated as parabolic throughout. Despite the minor imperfections of our system, the materials are very accurate. They are sourced from the highest quality human flesh we could find, grown in your very own Dr. O'Connell's lab, of course, and not from real humans, at least we think. All right, now you are ready to be shrunk down to size in order to journey into the human heart. Here we go! Woo! You are now the height of 2 millimeters and inside the human heart. Let's take a closer look. As we journey through the aortic valve, we can see the pulsating nature of the blood flow. We will now observe the deformation of the leaflets as the blood pulsates. Observe the majesty that is the product of thousands of hours of failed Comsol simulation. First, we will observe the sinusoidal velocity input function. Unfortunately, Comsol was not able to solve the simulation when using blood flow velocities for a real living human. So what you are seeing is the blood velocity flow of someone who is recently or is about to be deceased, or perhaps a zombie's blood flow. I know you were expecting a wild river rafting rapid trip down the aorta, but instead you are receiving what we hope is a relaxing river cruise. Now you see the impulse function. Notice that there is significantly less deformation for the impulse function. This is due to the fact that the increased velocity flow is imposed for a much shorter time duration. In order to verify that this simulation was safe for humans and to ensure that it matched past literature data, a simulation was created that matched a test from the literature. The literature values can be seen on the left, while the verification data can be seen on the right. In order to achieve high pressures you see before you, the velocity had to be increased from about 2 meters per second to 1 meter per second. This dramatic increase in velocity was only possible by decreasing the elastic modulus impossibly high in order to prevent any deflection whatsoever. The Comsol model could not handle the high deflections that occurred at this higher velocity. Hopefully for future studies, the lab can figure out how to run Comsol at higher velocities and allow for greater deflection, or we may lose our tourism business. Here are some still images of the geometry tested for the valve leaflet simulations. We began our study with the straight leaflets, progressed to angled, and accumulated in the almighty L, trademark, shape geometry, patent pending. This geometry showed the best results because it could withstand the high velocity and longest leaflet length without making Comsol angry. This is most likely due to the fact that the L, trademark, shape geometry is the smoothest shape and leads to the most laminar flow and allows the fluid to remain attached for the longest distance along the leaflet surface. We varied the Young's modulus of the leaflets in order to view the effect of aortic stenosis, or stiffening. As predicted, the deflection decreased dramatically as the Young's modulus increased. However, it was not expected that the deflection would decrease so much at lower changes in E and less dramatically at higher E. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the aortic heart valve. We will now power up the shrink ray and return you back to normal size.
Beep, 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 beep. Warning! Oh no! It appears as though instead of returning you to normal size, we've increased you to the size of the Earth. It seems our shrinker was just about as reliable as our Comsol code. Hang on while we try to fix this, and hopefully it doesn't take us as long as it did to get our model to work. Beep beep bop boop. Zap! Ooh, we fixed it! You are now back to your original size and back at UC Berkeley. Thank you for coming along.